If you or someone you love has ever been a victim of violent crime in Mississippi, tonight's story is for you.
Hundreds of violent crime survivors and family members gathered at the Mississippi State Capitol today.
The joint rally and vigil is the first ever Survivors Speak Mississippi Day of action.
When survivors speak,
change happens.
And we're going to make some change today.
Our work is really about building political power of survivors here in the state of Mississippi.
You can't have public safety without the public. Public safety is not just the absence of violence and crime in the neighborhood. It's also the presence of well-being and the infrastructure to support victims and survivors in their healing journey. Our collective voice is what is going to help make the change.
Y'all ready to march?
What do we want?
Healing.
What do we want it?
Now.
Welcome everyone to your Mississippi State Capitol. This is a resolution designating today, March 11th, 2026, as Crime Survivors Speak Mississippi Day at the Capitol.
Today we are here to work towards practical, bipartisan solutions. Because we know firsthand, when trauma goes unaddressed, it can lead to people becoming victims over and over again.
One by one,
Avion Donaldson, Adrian Hawkins.
Attendees calling out the names of those they've lost, grieving loved ones, some clutching photos of the faces taken too soon.
I realized that if I stayed silent, other families would continue walking through this nightmare alone. So I began to speak. I began to share my story. My daughter Alexia Buckhalter's life was taken by gun violence. Survivor-led organizations step in. We're boots on the ground during these moments. That's why it's so important that we invest more in organizations here in Jackson and across Mississippi that are doing the work every day, supporting families of homicide victims. We need city and state leaders to act now and invest more in these organizations and help all survivors.
It helps the whole state of Mississippi when we all can come to the table and agree that some things need to be changed, policies need to be looked at.
In 2023, my daughter was violently assaulted here at a college in the state of Mississippi. She never returned to school because the trauma was simply too much. After submitting more than 20 expenses, including medical bills, travel to court, and time away from work, only 3 expenses were covered by the Victims' Compensation Fund. For families already dealing with trauma, navigating systems like this should not feel like another battle. We need to improve the Mississippi Victims' Compensation Program so that families can access help when they need it most. We need more investment in evidence-based programs, including the trauma recovery centers that provide counseling, case management, and long-term support for victims and their families.
Having a trauma recovery center is going to be a major step for healing for us because it's going to really define for us what being brought back to wholeness means. It's not just about paying for a funeral. It's about getting access to whatever people need to turn their lives around after something tragic happens to them.
I can't tell you that I know what you're going through, because I have not walked in your shoes. But I can walk along beside you to make your load a little lighter.